Gotta
All
make
right,
sure I
what's
got
up?
Thomas on standby. Anyways,
Yeah,
what's up?
what's up, guys? I here talking with Miguel. Super stoked to talk to him. I've always wanted to talk to him, but especially after his performance at NAKO and some things that he's been posting. Yeah, he's just been a ripper for a long time. But also this kind of newfound confidence that he has is really interesting to explore.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're definitely a big influence in the community, especially like the last few years. So yeah, I just kind of want to go over what I want to talk to you about. The first thing is the string, more from a
Mm.
personal standpoint of learning your tech.
You say, let me
Um,
move some Damas here that I have that have
are
come
you
out
farming
yet.
right? Are you,
But I got like Damas just
yeah,
hanging there right now that
you're
I
just
got.
farming string over here, dude.
Yeah, these are like the setups that I've been playing with the most. Lotus Bloom and then the like Joker setup. And like, if I'm not playing it, I have it
Cool.
just hanging. Like I always try to make sure that it's extended to the maximum extent. It's really annoying when I take out a new Hanrui string because I only play Hanrui strings. It's really annoying when I start playing a new setup and it just doesn't do what I want it to do. Like if I play
Yeah,
strings, it does everything that I want it to do. But if it's been tied up for weeks at a time, it just doesn't do what I want it to do. And it's so irritating. It's the most annoying feeling of all time. And I figured
yeah,
I should just hang my kendamas because I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to organizing my kendamas, I'm not the best at it. I've always got damas everywhere, and a lot of the times they've just been hanging. And I realize, like, okay, the ones that hang for the longest periods of times, I tend to like those the most. I don't know if it's because I play those
yeah,
the most, or if it's got some other factors to do with it. And I realized that the longer they hang for, the better the string is. And I've just been like consistently doing that since. And I created a post about it just because I figured if it helps me, it's probably going to help other people. Because I know I'm sure some other people, I forgot who it was, but they swiped up and said that they do the exact same thing. I think it might have been Chandler Gant. But I mean, if it helps more people, it helps more people. I've focused a lot
yeah.
on kind of posting my own clips, and I figured I might as well post more informational content to kind of push forth the current players rather than focusing on recruiting new players.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's a lot to learn from you, just because of your trick style and your consistency. I mean, you're doing well in open and in freestyle, and you're getting viral
Mhm.
clips. You're just kind of like all around player. Um, but I'm curious to know how many people have swiped up and hit you up about that, because I think there is a lot of people just struggling. Yeah, it just seems like there's only a few players out there that have the string down, and everyone else is just like either struggling and not talking about it or struggling and talking about
I'm gonna
it.
keep it a buck. I think for like 99% of the people, it's a skill issue. They just aren't there yet.
Yeah,
Like I'm doing
yeah,
the same set of tricks. Like when I go back to like my 2022 stories where I start posting like the consistent freestyle runs, I'm doing the exact same tricks, but they look
yeah,
really sloppy. The string is all over the place. I don't go anywhere near as long. Um,
yeah,
just just like the base cup, swap, triple, insta flip, juggle spike. Like I've been doing that trick
yeah, yeah,
almost
for so
every other
long.
trick I land, I do it repeatedly. It's like a
Yeah,
part of my muscle memory now. Like I'll be doing homework and I just like do my pencil or some shit. It's
yeah,
part of who I am now and how I play. And I think now that I found out how to deal with the string, I can talk about it a bit. But for most people, it's a skill issue. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
There's a lot of people that if you've been playing for 2 years, sure you might be able to see the string, but you're not gonna have those fast twitch movements. Like the first person that
yeah,
comes to my mind is Tom, Tom from Seoul. If you look at his
yeah,
stories, I don't know if it's like him doing something else, but it looks like he kind of like whips the Ken around like this to get the string
mm,
up and around the Ken. And that's exactly the same
yeah,
thing I do. But it's cool to see how he
mm,
does it like super exaggerated and it does the job. I
yeah.
think that's something that I've been
Interesting.
trying to do. Uh, like even in my personal videos, when I like my freestyle runs, they almost all look the same for my TikTok. I'm just trying to make them look as cool as possible. I film from above, film from below, and sometimes I see that I do those motions, and I don't even realize it. So kind of like almost breaking down like film like you do in other sports is what am I
Yeah,
doing? What are other people doing? What can I do to catch up? So there's a lot of different players that do these similar things, and there's players that don't even need to make those small transitions because the string is always perfect. I don't know if they just got it like that and always had it like that, or if they put in like a certain amount of work to get the same thing always done. But like your
mm,
all your videos on keeping straight Ken flips, like I still really struggle with that. And like with
Yeah.
Brad Willard from Locke, we're talking about how me and him do our late trips with three fingers, and Casey and a
Mm.
lot of other players do them with two. And we're trying
Uh,
to see if that's a big factor as to why ours like the second I juggle, I immediately like smack it forward and my Ken flips go up. I'm really trying to
mm,
focus on keeping them in the same place or making them even go down. And the two Ken
mm.
flip method or the two finger method is something that I've been trying to experiment with, but it's so hard just because I've done
Yeah.
the same thing for like how long have I been doing triple Ken flips? Like 9 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to break out of that, but there's so
Yeah.
many small things about Kendama that truly kind of create the barrier between who's a good player and who's like, an amazing
Yeah.
player. Kuya, I don't know if he posts them on his actual feed, but like on TikTok, he posts like goon circle clips, and I'm just like, how is he doing this? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, I thought he was just like solely focusing on this, and now that he's expanding the string, it's
Yeah.
crazy to see and it's super inspiring. It kind of like lights a fire under my ass, especially like
Mm,
after NAKO, I got fourth, of course, and that's completely on me. I've never competed in a tournament that big before, so I just had
yeah.
no tricks left in those last couple rounds. Super repetitive runs. I've really been focusing on my variety, stun playing, fasts, more stalls. What else? More tray flips. Kind of like just more tech stuff in general, and it's
Yeah.
I've been making progress. I think whenever I try to actually film videos, I end up reverting back, and it's just like, oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
But fix the string by doing base kip, trip, insta, jug
Yeah.
spike, because that's how I fix my string. Those trip flips, like I don't know how it happens. Maybe because of how it whips the string, but it works for me, and that's why
Yeah.
I do it so
Okay.
much. So now I've been focusing on doing inward trip tosses to tap to try to fix the string, just because it looks way cooler in my opinion, and it's
Yeah.
something that it's new to me. It's something that people don't expect of me, and that's why I just feel like it's a better option for me to look into.
Yeah. I think for the string, people can kind of group it. I can kind of group like string management into two groups. One is like skill issues, so like just learning the techniques to avoid the string or just getting better at the trick. Like,
Hmm.
you know this feeling of just doing a trick over and over and over again until like you have mastered the muscle memory for the trick, and then you can kind of put focus on the string. And then the other
Hmm.
group are these unusual, unique techniques of like what string do I get, what length do I use, do I hang my string? And I think the struggle for a lot of people is that like I think most people understand that there is skills that need to go into it, but like
Hmm.
what do am I even checking the boxes on this other group? Like, do I even have like the right bearing, or is my paint getting in the way, or is there certain things? And then
Hmm.
obviously you those are something that you can do right away and then also work
Hmm.
on your skills. But
Hmm.
what would
So
you would
I have
you
a
say
question
it's
for you.
yeah, yeah.
Let's say if someone was focusing on trip, jug to spike, would you say they should prioritize learning their hand control, autonomous control, or string control? For three, juggle spike.
um
I feel like that's the big barrier between one, two, and three. I think three is the hardest one because you got to actually get
yeah,
consistent multiple juggles.
I think it depends on I like to watch an attempt before I give advice, but like I think all three are really important. But I think like if you probably just want to learn the trick first, and then once you learn the trick, then you can be like, oh, okay, the string keeps getting in the way here, and then you learn small things.
I like your answer on like seeing the actual attempts. My family just came back, so I apologize for any background
Okay.
information. Yeah,
No, no,
people
no.
always ask me like, do you have any tips for like say like four tap? I'm like, I really need to see your taps. If you can't do one tap,
Yeah,
I can't give you I can't give you
yeah,
tips on four tap. And if you're like hitting the four tap, but you're not tossing the tama high enough, then that's a completely
yeah.
different story. But yeah, it always just ties back to where are you in the actual trick. I feel like so
Okay.
much of the advice that I post on my TikToks is applicable to like two viewers, like
Yeah,
play the same way that I did when I started playing, and then the rest of them were
yeah,
just okay. I see your tutorial on late Ken flips now. How do I do like the whirlwind, like the initial trick that you said I had to learn to get the juggle
yeah,
down,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
trick down. Yeah, like there's so much disparity in skill level, and that's kind of where I struggle with creating enough content for everyone because I
Okay.
can either focus on appealing to Canal players that follow me, recruiting new Kendama players, and then when I actually recruit them, of course they're gonna increase in skill level. And like, do I want to grow with the audience and like with that set,
Yeah,
or do I want to constantly appeal to beginners? Because
yeah,
realistically, if I post a tutorial for let's say six step, how many people how many people
yeah.
actually use that tutorial?
Right. But what would you say if okay, so would you say with the trip jug that you'd watch them do it to see what they need to work on?
hmm I think for the majority, like when I talk about juggles, when one goes up, one goes down. That's the way I talk about
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
Fabian, I'm gonna mention Fabian a lot. He's like my case study.
Yeah.
But he's been playing for let's say 2 years now, and I always say like when one if you're juggling, one goes up, the other one goes down, and you want to make sure that they
Mm,
don't cross in between. That's like
mm,
the first thing that I talk about. Like it doesn't matter if you can actually spike it or not, because in a certain amount of attempts, you are going to get a good time rotation. Like that's how a lot of our film sessions go. His juggles
yeah.
at first were just toss, 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 pray. But now they've gotten to the point where he can get that initial time rotation. So from like the earth turn jug type thing. I don't know if you do the same thing. That's just what I do.
Mm,
That's the same
mm,
thing that I tell people in my live streams of just it doesn't matter how many juggles you do, as long as you can get the last one to do the right flip,
yeah. Yeah.
you're golden. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would say,
I
oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just really just the up and down motion. One goes up, one
Yeah.
goes down. You always got to
Yeah.
focus on one. You can't have both going up at the same time, or else you're gonna run out of space. And it's same thing on the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So dude, I was just trying to film for the freestyle for the Kelly Sweets thing. And like I would say personally, I put a lot of work into string management and I've made a lot of progress and I filmed the tutorial, but like that's not to say that I still don't struggle. I'm still obviously not the
Mhm.
best. And I would still say that like I have progressed in string, but like I'm not nearly, what some of these players can do. And I found personally, and maybe this is only going to apply to a few people, but I want to talk to you about like resetting the string because I will like when I'm doing the freestyle for Kelly, there's
Mhm.
like three tricks that I just have down, right? Like, and they're like
Mhm.
good tricks because I just film for freestyle. And you have the same thing, right? Like, there's just a bunch of tricks that, like, whether it's like a trip
Mhm.
joystick, trip joystick, juggle, whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that's the first thing that
and
popped in my mind.
yeah, and like I can do those and I can land up consistently because I've learned enough string management to do that, right? And
Mhm.
obviously the trick, but I've learned both things.
Mhm.
But then like I find that when I do a few of these in a row, dude, every time the string will be completely around my serrato. So it's
Mhm.
not only just doing one trick and then avoiding the string wrap, but like doing like three or four. And this is where I think like if you're able to do like a 45-second run of like,
Mhm.
tricks to your standard, then you've just
Have
like
you seen my
really,
like airplane tap backs, like just like a hook tap, and then he just does like a shit ton of flips? I don't track
yeah,
those at all. I do it
yeah,
for the sake of flipping it back. I like a caveman mindset. I'm like, oh, okay, if my string is tangled from flipping this way, I gotta flip it as much as I can in the other direction. It doesn't
hmm,
matter if it's sloppy. If I can just tap it and get like a solid 4 flips, that's another juggle late trip Ken that I can do. So my
dude, it's
approach
so funny.
basically
Yeah,
yeah, if it's flipping one way, I gotta flip it the other way. So that's why I started doing inward instas. That's why I'm trying to incorporate those triple insta swaps. Just watching
okay,
Takuya do those like crazy. Because like
yeah,
I would be doing like toss and then the insta like inward, like Danny from Hawaii does them. But then you
yeah,
got Takuya doing like trip inward tap, trip inward tap, trip inward tap. And it's like, damn,
yeah,
he's setting it, he's resetting his string and making it look cool at the same time. And that's really the goal for me
mm,
there. Because I can only do that tap trick so many times before the judges are like, "Oh wow, he did it again for the 20th time. That's
yeah.
so cool."
But if you have
Um,
it down, then you can just do it only just to reset the string, and then you can go back to another more difficult trick.
But like I remember seeing that one video of like you posted a slow-mo of YASU and he like did some kind of swap and it reset the string. I was trying so hard to learn those,
Mm,
but I couldn't. And that's why I learned how to do those. I would just like smack it and hope for the best. But before I go off on another tangent, have you seen that photo of YASU and his like string is a heart? Like whenever I think of string control, I think of that photo.
dude,
Uh,
that's so sick. No, I need to see that.
let
That's
me
like
find it.
a great like symbol. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that's
it's
so
just like
interesting.
it's an insane photo. Yeah, I whenever I look it up in my thing, I sent this to like a group chat that I have with friends that like they don't even follow Kendama. They just know like the buzzword names like Takuya, Yasu,
Yeah, yeah,
Alex Mitchell. Of just like before an event, I'm always like I'm gonna get them this time. Like this is the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's
I'm
so
finally
sick,
gonna
dude.
win. But like all I gotta do is look up Yasu in my like iMessage chats, and then this photo pops up of like him. I don't even know what he's doing there, but there's like a photo in the heart. I sent it to you on
Can you
Instagram. it's
Okay.
such a cool photo. I think he's
Can
such
you
an
try to show the screen?
what was that?
Can you show the screen? Oh wait, I think.
Let me
Oh
see.
my God, yeah.
So
Wow.
cool. Yeah, like I always, whenever I think of string control, that photo always pops into my head. I mean, I highly doubt it on
Man,
purpose, but if you could do that on purpose, I'd be like the best example of string control that I could think of. It's such an awesome photo of like him in his element. Yeah,
it's like the string, like giving him love because of how much work he put into the string. Shout out to the
exactly.
photographer. I
Mhm.
think it's
Yeah.
Barky who took that picture. Um,
Anyways,
so dude,
what were we talking about before
yeah,
that?
no, I came across that concept of doing inward flips when I asked Yasu in Copenhagen what he does, and he just mentioned that like if he does a lunar and the string is wrapped, that he can like he just showed me like go to inward lunar and then do an inward flip to lighthouse, and then the string would become unwrapped. And
hmm
then Takia posted his freestyle video where Nanoka commented like, "Hey, how do you manage the string?" And then he just says, "Every time I do this inward flips, it resets it." And that's
hmm
exactly what you're saying as well. Um, and that's really, really interesting. It's definitely like a new, again, it's only going to apply to a few people, but like to go
hmm
back to your one tangent, like I think even if people aren't there yet, they want to be there at some point. So they're still going to watch it.
Yeah.
Like even,
hmm
you know what I mean? And that's why I
I
like
think
doing advanced tutorials too, because you're going to get all the views still, but it might not just be like totally relevant to
hmm
that many
I
people. But
think
yeah,
yeah, the most basic example, because like sometimes there's whenever I post this tutorial for this trick, it always is well. There's this trick where I see if I can point it out. I hope I don't accidentally shut the call off. But you basically wrap the string around the tama, you loop it around, and then you can pick it up and it picks the, let's see if
mm,
I can like this tutorial always does well. Like it always for
yeah,
some reason. So I tried posting it with a TikTok shop link. That was the one time it didn't do well. But it's done well on YouTube. It's done well on TikTok. I haven't tried it on Instagram, but I'm sure it do the same numbers there. It's just because
yeah,
it's a cool looking trick that anyone from any skill level can do. Like you don't even have to pull it
yeah,
up. Like you can just drop it down into it. As long as you have a sticky tama, so pretty much not in a
yeah,
Zora, you'll be chilling and you'll be able to lace it. So I
yeah,
think
for sure.
tricks like that are definitely appealing to people. I tried doing a J-stick tutorial. Not really the same amount of popularity there, but I still enjoy making these videos. Like if it can help one person
Yeah,
out, you do it. But when I think about kind of scaling my account, I think the best way would just be to do beginner tutorials, but at the same time,
yeah,
like when I had a great conversation at NAKO with Onishi from 365, the guy
mm,
who runs the channel, and he was telling me like all the cheat codes to running like the pages. Like I scheduled posts for like 3 weeks, just like drilling
mm,
that in, finding the right audio, like trending audios. But it's just so much more fun to film like long
yeah,
videos of me freestyling from all the different
yeah,
angles. So I
yeah,
think I'm a lot more passionate about just making fun videos than I am about like tutorials for very specific things. I feel
right.
like, of course, it is fun to make tutorials, and I love seeing people tag me and being like, "Oh, thanks to Miguel for showing me how to do this trick." But I don't know. I think yeah, another tangent, but I just love freestyle videos. Like, there's just
Yeah,
fun to
no, for
make.
sure.
Hmm
Yeah, definitely. And I think those could get popular too if it's like, the right
Exactly.
framing and the music and everything.
Exactly.
Um, but do so I don't really see Takia do this too much, but I definitely noticed Yasu and me and my brother Matt were talking about resetting the string.
hmm
Um, it seems like Yasu will do like yanks in the air, or not yanks, but twangs, I guess. Like, will he
Yeah.
throw the tama up and then the twangs, and so then the string gets reset, and then the string won't
hmm
be wound up. Do you like? Have you tried to incorporate any of that in your freestyle play?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that's because he missed. Like that's what I do when I
Okay.
miss. If that's a way to reset the string, then I'm gonna look into that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like,
Okay.
let me
Yeah.
think. Because whenever I do my string resets, I do triples. I feel like I don't know
Yeah.
why. Maybe it's
It
because of the way
resets
that I
it.
do the triple and I get the tom to be like this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
just have heavy beats, but I always have the string come out, and I think that kind
Yeah.
of resets my string.
Yeah.
I really want to learn how to do more inward triples. I feel like the inward
Mm,
instas are kind of my method because I can consistently get like 5 insta inwards in a row. So like when I'm
yeah.
practicing my own and I'm just trying to go for longevity in a run, I just spam those instas. What else do I do? Triple insta whirlwinds, just like anything insta
Yeah.
like whipping a flip, however many I can do.
Mm,
Like I've been trying to do the just like inward juggles. Like you know how people like do like a Ken flip and then grab the Tama and then like flip it to like be like a 10 flip juggle. I've been trying to
yeah.
learn how to do that with inward juggles. So I
Mm,
can just do that as like a reset and then just go back straight into the trick. Because I think freestyle runs are so much cooler when there's no misses and there's no like straight resets of like, oh, let me fix my
yeah.
swing or oh, let me do a
But
bungee.
Yasu also does he will like have the Ken and then the Tama come up here and yank back. And I
Yeah.
think that it's like still mid trick, but it still resets it,
Oh,
which is so
yeah. Okay, I
cool.
remember the example where he does like a
Yeah.
juggle twing, juggle twing, juggle twing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think that like
That's
that's a way, yeah, it's a way you can
that's
incorporate it, you know?
it's such a good example of string control because I don't know if this
Yeah.
is true, but whenever I try to do stuff like that, if I somehow mess it up and let's say it swings like right
Mm,
here, the tom is going to do way more rotations and it's not going to
yeah.
pull. So you got to
Right.
consistently throw it back to the same spot each time, which is just like it's one thing to control it going up. Controlling like juggling outwards is not a normal motion for me because like
Yeah.
I've only
No.
played Kendama, so I'm used to juggling up. Like even when it
Yeah.
comes to like, juggling like three balls, it's super weird for me to go to the side.
Yeah.
Like my juggles like super jank. Like my right arm juggle is just like super good, super smooth, and my left one looks like I'm having a stroke or something. Like it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so hard to get sideways motions down. So like any people that are good at perpendicular UFOs or parallel to the ground
Mm,
UFOs, like I have such an appreciation for that just because it's so
yeah.
hard to do.
I'm gonna definitely take the inward tech into my play because like I was when I was training, I kind of want to talk to you about your structure of your freestyle. But like for example, when I was going for the Kelly freestyle, which I wasn't able to get, it was really frustrating.
Me
But
either. Yeah.
oh, you weren't okay, okay.
No, because
Jeez.
the thing is, when I was doing these freestyle runs, all I could think of was variety. I hit like 10
Yeah,
minute long freestyles, and then
yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I hit this super cool handle saw trick. And then I rewatched it, and the same thing, just like triple down, triple down,
Uh,
triple down. And I'm like, oh man, like I am not
well,
gonna
it's still
not gonna
cool
win with
though that
this.
you, yeah.
Um,
I can't even get a minute in because my string management. I mean, maybe it is like a little bit of a trick standard too. Like I'm setting
mhm,
it too high for my level, but
mhm,
anyway, yeah, like, dude. So I'd start the run with like a good trick, which was like trip Ken and then trip juggle, late trip Ken, and then juggle to lighthouse. But
mhm.
dude, that's nine plus the juggle. That's 10 flips. And so if the string isn't reset, the string just wound up
Mhm.
10 times. And now I'm like, and then I tried to learn the yank, you know what Yasu does, but then I don't have that down. So that was frustrating
All right.
because I was trying to get it back to Lighthouse and then it wouldn't work. And
I'm gonna
so
try
I
to
think,
learn how to do that while we speak.
yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I just was like struggling so hard with the string because like I would get, you know, I could get these tricks consistently, but just not back to back. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me flip over here. Someone's coming. I think it's my pops. All right. I gotta try to learn how to do this. Hola. Yeah, we're taking care of a dog, so he's greeting like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
it. Yeah.
I feel
And
like
then
I
he
want to do
just,
it at more of an angle, like almost like a wizard
yeah.
flip to the side. All
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Yeah, because you see
Yeah,
how it just goes
that's
up?
it. Yeah. But I think it's just controlling that Ken and then,
Mhm.
but it
Pero
looks
por
like
favor,
it's
pero por atrás.
resetting the string, you know?
Sí. Yeah, I almost wanted to do like late good circle, just like out of instinct. I
Uh,
don't even think about it.
but dude, in Yasu, did you see Yasu's last trick with the two 10 taps?
Two Ken taps?
Two 10 taps. I think he
Two
did
Ken
two 10
taps?
taps. And yeah, he just posted the music video to his song.
Oh,
But
I have not seen that. Was it just one freestyle run?
yeah, it's super
Oh my
sick.
God.
Um, but even in that freestyle run, he does inward, he does like, he does a 10 tap and then does a really quick trick. And then he does some inward stuff, probably to reset it. Or I don't know who knows what's going on in his head. And then he does a 10 tap again. And yeah,
Trying to
it's so
think
sick,
how
dude.
yeah. Like I'll just play while we talk, and then I feel like it'll just be straight muscle memory, and that way you can see how I kind of reset. Because like this is me very much so
Yeah.
like it's instinct. Whenever I see you flip one way, I want to flip it the other way. That's
Yeah.
incredible
Okay.
flips. But like the inward instas, I think it's just such a great way to, even if it's just one rotation. Um, Another thing is canceling out the flips.
Mm,
So I love tap to lighthouse. I think it looks way cooler than juggle to lighthouse, and
yeah.
it flips the motion. I feel
It
like
does. Yeah.
ghosts are really cool, but when it comes to freestyle, I think just the more flips the merrier. And if it flips one way
Yeah.
and flips doing the same thing, it's gonna just add more and more flair to it.
And it
I've been
resets
trying to
too,
learn how
right?
to implement like triple instas, or just like more triple flips like that, like straight
Yeah.
triples. But it's been tough. Uh, I don't know why. I think it's because of my string management in inward lunar, but I feel like when I try to cancel out normal flips with inward lunar flips, it just doesn't work out.
Mm,
That's probably like a me issue right there. It's definitely a skill issue. But
yeah.
yeah, like double inward flips is something else that I've been working on. I don't know if you saw that one
Mm,
clip with like trip J, trip swap, trip J, jug, stunt fast, and then like jug instead triple. Because like I was trying to master
mm,
those for NAKO. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to consistently get them. It was honestly just
yeah.
a fucking break kind of trick. But yeah, like the inward motions, I don't think I've had any examples so far. But
Yeah.
it's
I know what you mean though.
such a
Yeah.
great example of like when I'm in live streams and I'm trying to look as cool as possible and there's like 300 people on the stream, I can't wait. Like
Mm,
it's a different thing from okay, if I miss this, I can reset. It's a thing of like if I miss, they're just gonna scroll past. Like they really do not care. Like they don't know what they're looking at. If I miss, I'm just like
yeah.
some scrub who can't keep on playing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
those like those small instas, I always end up going to base cup. Kind of learn how to do small cup instead. I feel like it's just like
Mm,
a cool little thing of like instead of doing that, I can do sideways and then flip it, set up
yeah.
finger mirrors and stuff. And like when I was younger, everyone was good at doing ground tricks, but they'd get really like off put if I would only do like small cup big cup or small cup bird. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
he does that in games with Ken. Yeah,
So
those
how do you like for freestyle, you did extremely well and you beat the top freestyle champ. How do you structure like the practice that went into that? Do you have like 10 runs that you're gonna do, or it seems like it's maybe more like a freestyle mentality of you just kind of spamming whatever you have?
spamming cool tricks. I know YASU,
Yeah,
if I'm straight spam, YASU could like do everything
yeah,
I did with double the amount of flips. Like
yeah,
there was no way I would win that battle.
yeah,
Alex Mitchell and Jacob Schultz, funny enough, the people that beat me are giving me advice on how to beat him. And they basically said like use a variety, like this trick right here. That's like my go-to in freestyle, just because
yeah,
I have to be so consistent and not very
yeah.
many people do. As well
No,
as like that was an awful
yeah,
example. But stuff like that,
right.
I
No, no,
did
no.
it in the first round just because I felt like he could copy it. That's like
Yeah,
I've noticed with Japanese freestylers, if you land something cool, they're gonna
yeah.
they're gonna do it to you in the next
For
round.
real.
I know
Uh,
Kaito did that to Alex Mitchell. I think it was like quad
yeah,
tap, toss, opposite hand lighthouse. Like I didn't want that to happen to me. So I was honestly terrified. I was like, okay. I was talking to Jacob Schultz. I was like, I think I'm gonna go second. And then he reminded me of he reminded me of Takuya and
yeah,
how he kind of just obliterated it like right out the gate, and
yeah.
Takuya got kind of nervous in that gameplay. I don't know if it's true. Like,
Uh,
EKC, by the way. So I figured if I stand in chance, I need to make him nervous. And I don't know if
yeah,
I don't think it was me that made him nervous. I think there's some other factors at play, but
yeah,
I'd love to say I made him nervous.
yeah,
uh,
yeah. No, you did what you needed to do, and then
yeah,
he
I think
didn't do what he needed to do. I don't think he really was
that's the best way to
expecting
say it.
anything. Yeah.
I think if we both performed at the top of our game, I wouldn't have won. Like straight up. I
Mm,
think
mm,
there was a lot of strategy that went into that. I was
yeah.
watching him, like I don't know if you saw the edit that Matt made, but dude, he was freestyling for like 3 minutes, just like nonstop. At some point, he did like
Uh,
stunt, triple, like jug, can, jug, triple, stunt fast. And I was just like, dude, there's no way I can do anything that'll match that. He could do
yeah.
that and just like straight up like skip across stage for the next like 30 seconds and I'd lose. So there's no way I can match
Yeah.
that. So I just had to think like, what can I do?
Yeah.
So like the 2 hours prior to that match, I was just doing triple. Like I was doing this
Mm,
like repeatedly. Like I was like drilling it. Like for the locked edit, I filmed that trick. Just because I was doing
mm,
that, I was like, this is what I'm gonna come out the gate with. And then
yeah.
I accidentally did barrel. But some people were like, oh, that was so cool. Like no one ever does barrels. And I'm like, that's one of
Yeah.
uh, it was like a total fluke that just worked out of my behavior. And then that was just the confidence that I needed. Like when I got out there, I was
Yeah.
I did not expect. I was trying to remain calm. I can open. I try not to like at ATLO. I was not reacting. I was trying real hard to stay calm. But I just had so much emotion. Like if I don't yell now, I'm gonna be shaking on
Yeah.
stage. So it
So
was
for freestyle, do you have like a like, okay, I'm gonna do this trick, then this trick, then this trick, then this trick, or do you just kind of like at some point just say, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever?
I think I have one trick in mind or two tricks. One of them to
Yeah.
start with, one of them to base later on.
Okay.
Uh, I always forget them. So
Yeah.
gotta start off with a trick.
Yeah.
Um, but like at the end, it got to a point where I was starting with the same tricks, and I think that's where I realized that I was screwed. Like against Jacob
Yeah.
Schultz, I wish I just pulled out my camera or something to start filming. Like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
any extra brownie points that I could get were definitely much
Right.
needed. But
Yeah.
yeah, because it gets to a point where it's just boring to everyone, and like even for me,
Mm.
I was thinking like, oh, like, this feels so good. Like I'm not missing all that much. But I know I could do. I know I could be doing better. Like for battle at the board, I
Yeah.
will be doing better. I will have more variety in my tricks, and if I don't,
Mm.
I'm going to be doing more flips. Like
Mm.
I will be better by the next time, and I want to be able to face Yasu like in a match where like he would just obliterate anyone else. That's the goal.
Mm.
As much as I'm proud to say that I beat Yasu, I like when I face players, I want them to. I don't want it to be a game of strategy. I want it to be a game of who's better.
Yeah. 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 And for you, it was strategy versus Yasu, but you want at some point to, yeah. Okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
like EKC finals type match where
Yeah.
it's whoever misses an in is gone. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
No, for sure.
Yeah, but we'll
So
make you want to compete.
have you tried other strings besides Henry? Like, why do you use you use strings? I've always had a bad. I have Lotus setups laced on lovely knots for everyone who buys a Lotus. For the like all the new setups have lovely knots.
Mhm.
But what? Yeah, have you played around with different strings to see what works best?
I'm just really stingy with my strings. When I was
Okay.
younger, I used to switch my setups a lot because like there used to be a ton of canal players. We'd be trading like crazy, and we each trade you would do, your string would get shorter and shorter. So I figured I would just play with the longest string that I have, and my string won't get too short. So like there's some clips. I had like a Kendama Gur, and it was like it felt like 20 fingers at the time. It was just like I'm gonna make this last as long as possible, and it
That's
just
so funny.
it never disappeared because when I came back, I didn't have all that many Kendamas and they were all like really outdated. I'm talking
Mm,
like Chrome. I would show up with like a Chrome Pop and people or like the no the OG Soul Shape and people would be playing like
mm,
I'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, why is it so
yeah,
janky? Uh,
yeah.
Stuff like that. Great. It was just yeah. I just I was so used to not having any strings that whenever I get a new setup, I will use that string as long as I can. Like
Mm,
sometimes I retire a setup and I have like old strings here. Some of them are like 4 strings long. I don't play with 4 strings, but I have them like just in case like someone wants a setup. I know I'll have a string for them back at home. Even now, I have like hundreds, if not like 1,000 strings, and I still have the like the need to just play with whatever string that's given to me. Like I'm very privileged to have all these many Damas, but I always feel like I need a backup just because when I was younger, I had
mm,
no strings. Like sometimes people would be like, "Oh, dude, here's a string. I know you're struggling," and then it's like those like flat Kenko strings with like the shitty bead. I'd be like, "Oh wow, thanks." Oh, I'll make sure to use it. Uh, but like I've
but
got a bunch of strings from like Kenko's, just like older DOMs. I got some like silk strings that are like 2 fingers that I'm
mm,
obviously not going to use, but I just have them there. Uh,
but what do you prefer to play with? Do you prefer to play if you get a new setup? Will you put an old string on?
if I get a new setup, I'm most likely going to put the Tama that I have or the Ken that I have on it.
Yeah. And then
Um,
you keep the string, or do you
yeah,
use that new string?
until it snaps or it
Okay.
gets it's I think the string that I played with that one Sulab, the one that was just kind of obliterated, I played that string
Mm,
for like a year. And
mm. So you
eventually,
just replace the can, you wouldn't replace the tama. Like you would take the string
yeah,
and the tama.
exactly. hmm Exactly. I
Wow.
need to replace the Ken. But it gets to
Wow.
a point
Okay.
where sometimes they start fraying,
Yeah.
especially in this area, especially with like a lot of factory Damas nowadays have a lot of excess wood, and that kind of gnaws away at the
Yeah.
string.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a downside to it. I think it's just if
Do you
I have a
think do you think that
maybe it's
improves
a
like
good combo where I don't want to get rid of it. What was
would,
that?
would you would you rather use like if you had to choose between like to like play Yasu or just play your best ability, would you pick an old string? Would you pick a new string? Like,
At old string, like without a doubt.
yeah,
I
because
mean,
you feel like it enhances your play. It's not just like this. Yeah, it's not just you
it's
wanting to
not like
save it. It's
superstition. Like there's been some times where like I think it was Zach that I asked to film my at ATLO. I was like, I realized that I've had my phone in my pocket like each of these matches, and I don't want to take it out. Like I want to every
yeah,
factor that I had going my way, my other earlier matches, I want to keep consistent.
yeah,
And the same thing for NAKO. For the most part, there was one round where I forgot to take my phone out for freestyle, but everything that I do, I want to minimize room for error. I want to control every single factor. Like
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like licking my bevel at the right period of time, so it's not slippery, or so it's not
yeah,
just
yeah,
dry. To wiping my sweat. Like each time I go up there, wipe my Tama, and then I wipe my palms and then my fingers. Because I want to control everything. I'm not going to go up there and then lose.
yeah.
Like I didn't wipe it off. It's happened to me before. It's an awful thing.
But do you think old strings are easier to control than new strings?
I would say so, just because it's less tangling. Um,
Yeah, they're like stiffer or something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, right. Perfect way to say it. I think these are a lot more fluid.
yeah,
I think like Brad gave a perfect example. This could use a little more work. You can see like a little like ridge right here. The ideal Tama,
mm,
I don't know if you can even tell here, but the
yeah,
ideal
yeah.
Tama would just be like a perfect U, like a parabola.
Mm,
So this one still got some work to do, but this has been
okay,
like for a couple of weeks now.
it's great.
Um,
So as you play it, it becomes more of a parabola.
yeah, and it's also just like the amount of tension that I'm putting on it. It's like if
Yeah,
I'm always like smacking my strings like this to get rid of it. And then of course the Yanks. I don't know, maybe the Yanks had like an incredible factor that I just didn't know. Maybe I gotta like switch to Tama for a day or two and just do
yeah.
what. But yeah, I
Wow,
think
that's really interesting. I've always
stretching it
just
out the
played
better.
brand new strings.
You only play with brand new strings?
Only.
Really? Because like
Yeah,
I remember like at sessions I would like win a Dama and I start playing with it. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited I have a new Kendama. And then I'd only be like, oh, this string is so shit. Like I wish I wish it was better. Um, but it also depends because I know that the Lotus elements they come with like a wrap string like around the can. It's not like they're
yeah,
not in a like the Hanrui figure eight kind of thing where they're
yeah,
stuck like that for a super long period of time.
yeah.
Maybe they were before. I guess I personally don't have any insights into that, but I
Well,
think
I think Hadruri would usually replace the solo Ken string with the new string, and then maybe that's when they'll do it. I don't know. Yeah.
new
Um,
Hanrui method, yeah, pre-stretched strings.
yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, I definitely will try that out. I remember Zach Maggs mentioning to me at some point that like he used like an old string that's like stiff and you've been playing with for a long time. It's like easier to control. And I just like I tried it out because I believe him, but like I just was like, man, I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know. That's really interesting. It's a cool way to think about it. Yeah,
I'm under tension, but it's also like I
yeah,
said before, a lot of times it's a skill issue.
yeah,
This only affects like for me personally, it only affects me on some specific tricks. Tricks like
yeah,
this that I've been doing for such a long period of time that I just have them down
yeah,
almost all the time. Like that's where I see the impact. It's not going to be in like
yeah.
a late
No,
food circle jug trip cat. Like
yeah,
I can do it normally, so a new string or
yeah.
a better string isn't going to change that for me. That's a skill issue.
No, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's just more like yeah, when I'm freestyle, like I'm feeling good. I'm gonna, just freestyling, playing around. It seems like sometimes like I'm doing all the same tricks that I normally would do, but sometimes the string gets in the way, sometimes it doesn't, and then it's like, okay, what's going on? Like
Exactly.
I read
Exactly.
myself as a factor. It's got to be the string or yeah,
Mhm.
it can't, yeah, or the can or whatever. Do you, um, yeah, I don't know.
Play the
It's really
wind?
interesting.
Do you play in the
Would
wind?
would you say?
Do you play in the wind?
I avoid it at all costs.
I feel
Yeah,
like the perfect, just like a slight breeze coming from
that
one way.
way. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like the perfect
yeah.
amount. Not
It's
enough to
really
put
nice.
jumping
Yeah.
stick. Like a trip jumping stick is my test of the wind. Like, is it
Okay.
gonna stay in the right
Yeah.
line? That's my test.
Yeah.
If I can do that and the string kind of just like very slightly gets pushed away, like that's a prime playing condition for me.
Yeah, for sure. Do you only play friction clear?
Recently, yeah, I've been like I played only. Okay, let me run through my timeline. Back then, I used to play with whatever. I used to compete in mini games with Sour Mash Paint. I started playing cushion Thomas on beach pop cans, and then I was just kind of burning through my supply, so I'd only play with just like generic sticky paint. Let me go grab a charger, and then started playing with AE clear, but then those got kind of hard to come by. When was it? I think it's almost a year ago now. I got my first friction clear. Like I saw a lot of hype about it, saw that they were durable, and a lot of my sticky Tomas I pretty much played until they were natty. So I
Yeah,
figured if I'm gonna play Tama, I might as well make sure that it lasts. And that's just
yeah,
kind of the same attitude that leads me to going to like 5 cans on one Tama. It's like
yeah,
you're paying for something, it better last. Like I'm okay with paying $50 for a Tama if it's gonna last me the same price as like an equivalent of like $200 in Kendamas.
yeah.
I bought a Raptor. I played it for a bit. I don't know if it's because it was the weather or if I have really sweaty hands, but it wasn't doing it for me. So I ended up selling
Mm,
that off. I did buy some Raptors at the new event though. So I got that there. I might end up using that in the future. Who knows? I kind of bought them with the intention of using them for a trade in the future. Like if I can
yeah,
find an 11 year or something, then I'm gonna use that as leverage. Just because not
yeah.
everyone gets those Tomas. I kind of use it just like as a medium of exchange rather than a ton I'm gonna be competing with. So I know what I like, so I'll stick to that in competitions. Um,
Yeah.
maybe at a small regional event, but like right now, this is honed. I'll be using this weekend at Arizona. I used it this
Okay.
Sunday pre-battle at the border.
Yeah.
PKC. If this Tom is still in good condition, I'll probably end up using this, or maybe
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what I'll be using then, but I
Is it,
guess
but is it mostly durability? I guess obviously the paint has a little bit to do with it, but you do a lot
I
of
think that's
instas,
a
so
good ratio.
yeah.
Yeah, the durability of the paint, the durability of the colorway. I think it's really
Mm,
nice to be able to like keep the track in there for a while. The
yeah.
lack of chips, the the way that it breaks in is crazy. Like when I won
Mm,
303, I double first and I started playing that Tama the day before. Like it
yeah.
was on and everything. Like I hit like a still barrel, which was pretty big move for me, like in freestyle, and it stuck. So I love how the crushable valves break in. I love how
Mm,
durable they are. I mostly love the weights. I feel like a lot of the
mm,
times the weights are pretty nice, and if not, you can find one that's pretty nice. I really dislike the prices. That's why I typically buy a big batch, and if I'm like a huge fan of the paint, I'll stick to them. And it's
yeah.
also just like me being afraid of missing out on another batch like the 11 year. I'm just like
Yeah.
having to scour the planet for them. I just don't want
Yeah.
to have to do that again. So like when I bought Solis, I bought six, stashed I think stashed two of them. Um, sold or traded a lot of the other ones, and then I did the same thing for the Joker. And this
Okay.
one I got like a lot closer to my weight preference. I think this is like 85 and this is like 87. Um, I have been
So
competing
heavier.
with types, but this is kind of my like I really like this.
Yeah. Um, what's your experience with Rhino?
Uh, funny you ask. Let me grab that. I got it here somewhere. Might have to check my backpack.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, there's only been one Rhino Tama that I've actually played. I won a Rhino setup. I found a Lotus Bloom, but I can't find the Phenomenon now. It might be hanging in my room somewhere. Oh, there it is. I better put the background audio. So I have this, and it's the same thing with Raptor, where I feel like the environment that I'm in has a big impact on it, and the
Mm,
paint that has the least amount of experience on that is friction clear.
mm,
So for those who don't know, this is the Phenomenomics Rhino Clear Tama. I got this at NAKO. I have it on an OG Deadpool. I like how it sticks, and there's two things that keep me from playing on it even more, and that's the durability of it. I'm
mm.
planning on filming a Economic series with this, fitting because it's
Yeah.
Economic Trauma, and you can very clearly see when I play over concrete, and I don't want to start a video off and be like, hey guys, this is this Hama, and then it's just like obliterated because I've done it in the past. And you're like, this you can't afford to do Kendama. Like I used to play with it. There's a Joe mod. It was like half night, and it had like 20 knots, and people were like, maybe that was a method. I got a lot of engagement, being like, dude, take your knots out. So maybe I got to try this one out. But it's a really nice Tama. I can't beat it up as easily as I can this because you don't directly see the pavement. Maybe I've just gotten lucky. I've been playing indoors a lot lately because it's very cold out. But Rhino Clear, it's good, but it isn't something I feel comfortable competing with. Definitely
Yeah,
something to dash with, but not something I'm gonna like go out of my way to find a nice song for when I know friction clear is almost always the
yeah,
same and it's gonna get the job done.
yeah. And it sounds like durability is like your biggest
Yeah.
thing.
But
Yeah,
I think the
and
investment of like how long is it gonna last. And that's also
yeah,
why I like
yeah,
it. Because even if the Rhino Clear peels off, it's a natty Tama. It's not gonna
yeah,
like if this were to have all the paint gone, it'd still be nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This would look like a dog ball or something. Like you just like
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
a just like ugly part to look
yeah,
at. But the paint would probably still be good. So that's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that's the thing about it. Let me find a cup of water.
I found that there's tamas that I love to freestyle with because of like the silkiness, like the Sulab. Like I have a Sulab that I just love to freestyle because also I think the string doesn't get in the way versus like a sticky tama. Or by the way, have you
Yes.
noticed that? Like sticky tamas, the string will get stuck on the tama more, and then like Sulab is like a really nice silky finish.
Only in some cases, and that's when they're really sticky. And at that point, they're really sticky, so you get stuck to the cups, and that's where I start getting. And yeah, like AE
Yeah.
clear,
Okay.
it's so good at first, and then it gets like super sticky, which is
Yeah.
exceptional for ridiculous lunar tricks and like just like super weird
Yeah.
text. But for the most part, it's too much.
Yeah.
I guess it
Yeah.
was went like about the border 2023, first big event I went to when I was coming back, and I'd be doing open tricks and like I'd be like tossing to lighthouse from like base cup, and then the whole thing would just stick. I'd be like, okay, that's not okay.
Uh,
So after that, I was pretty set on trying to find something that would work for me. Um, what did I use at LVKO and CKC? I think I used AE Clear, both of those two. It worked for me. I was friends with Adrian. I had a supply of them. I still am friends with Adrian. It made it sound like I was like in the past, but um, now yeah, 2023 or 2024 onwards, friction clear. So I got my first one. Really liked it. Beach suit. If you're somehow hearing this, please
yeah.
make beach ones. But what else? Yeah, I think it's all been that. That first experience was awful. I feel like I don't know if it's just me, but I get a small time period where it's kind of slick. I think this one's kind
Yeah.
of yeah, it's like the breaking period. Unfortunately for me, I was in the middle of a battle at the border and I didn't wipe my Tama off. I was going against Nate. I do inward lunar. I think it's like 3-2 and it just slips off. And ever since then, I've been like
Yeah.
profusely drying it off, drying every part of my hand off because I don't want that to happen again. I feel like it was such a lame way
Yeah.
to like
Well, it's
like
interesting because like I
wins,
think
but I hate that I lost like that, especially after
yeah.
I put in.
I feel like, normal play and freestyle play, you're much more like at least for me, I'm much more free of what timers I'll use. But then when it comes to open division, I really want something like grippy, because I don't want a lunar to slip off. But like if I'm just freestyling, like I can still manage that lunar.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like with the like that's when I probably would go to a Rhino Tama that I have that is grippier than like a Lab that like is super fun to play, but doesn't quite hold lunars like I would want to do like a double barrel like we have at the NAKO Open Division. But I guess you're also looking for that, and it sounds like some of your Labs are
Yeah.
grippy enough to do an open.
Slip to grip ratio is perfect on these, in my opinion.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is exactly what I'm looking for. I
Yeah.
think it reminds me of a new paint Tama, like a free sticky
Mm.
paint Tama. When I think of this, I think of this. Maybe find it. I think of these bad boys. Like this is what friction clear reminds me of. Uh,
Wow.
the perfect level of slip and grip. I think these like this one's really fresh. So oh wait, I forgot it doesn't have a 10. So it's probably going to be a bit stickier. No, actually no.
Yeah.
So, like I can do this without it tipping over, and that is
Mm,
perfect to me. And the track,
yeah.
these are such good Thomas. I don't know if you ever played one.
Uh-uh.
Offer you one if I had, or I do have some to spare, but I just love them so much that I just can't get rid of them. Yeah, like that. That was the first exceptional Tama that I had when I came back. Like that. I don't know if Honduras will makes them the same way, but that specific bash was exceptional. Like the Joe
Mm,
mod had the same kind of paint. The original Dreamscapes had that kind of paint too. It's like the best non-premium paint I've ever had.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Um, so open division, you just beat Schultz for the pre-BATB for the from the Gallagher's.
Oh, good.
Um, what was your are you practicing a lot? What's your practice routine for open division?
Call Brad and play Ken
Okay.
and open matches, and then sometimes the like so I don't know how I want to say this. So Locked Studios for the past couple big events has a point system, and it's like an internal competition. You can get points from different ways. Like let's say sending Danny, you landing the trick list in a row gets you the
Mm,
purely hypothetical number is 100 points. And if you were to do the trick that you were worst at in the last call 5 times in a row, you would get 50 points. Stuff
oh
like that
wow.
to incentivize us to do it. I did it a lot, Battle at the Border 2024. I kind of like won the mini bracket. I got some locked Damas. I got like some Oken Tama. Um, Great way to incentivize us, but I'm not a big fan of filming those small tricks. Like it's like
Mm,
repeatedly. It's cool when it's a new trick each and every time, like the Calvinomics daily trick thing. I actually kind of like that feature.
yeah.
I'm checking it out a lot
Yeah.
more, but it's it's really different when I'm doing the same trick over and over. I feel like it's so much more fun to just hop on a call and do mock matches, which is why
Mm,
it's such a cool thing to me. Um,
yeah. So you prefer to just call Brad and then just practice with him?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay. Cool.
mock matches are the way to practice. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how much you land a trick if you can't lay down under pressure.
Yeah. It's
That's
true.
what I'm working on with Brad too. I'm just like
Yeah.
making sure that he knows how to perform under pressure. Because some
Yeah.
of the people they can land these tricks, like especially these battle border tricks. I hate them
Yeah.
because they're feasible. Because like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I know that if I miss, they're absolutely gonna lace, and if I lace,
Yeah.
they're most likely gonna match, and that's the kind of stuff that stresses me out. I would so much
Mm,
rather have a match where it's like level 10 KWC tricks and just like whoever lands it is gonna go crazy compared
mm,
to level 5 KWC tricks where you're stressing over like missing like a penguin base cup spike because we all know you
yeah.
can do it, but can you do it under pressure?
Yeah. And it seems like you perform really well under pressure. Do you have advice or what's your mindset going in? Is it like, yeah, what do you do to just get yourself in that confident mindset?
I talk a lot of shit to my friends and I gotta back it up. That's definitely a big one. Um, but dealing with pressure is hasn't been something that I've been good at for like a long
Mm,
period of time. Doing exposure therapy is the only way that I got better at it. Going to all
mm,
those events helped. Some of those
yeah.
events, like Utah, I didn't do as well as I had hoped. Uh, Specifically in Open, I lost first round against Luke Sedgwick, and I lost in the Open Division finals against them in the same bracket because it was W them. I wasn't sure how to perform under people I didn't know. That's something that I've
Yeah.
often dealt with, considering my performance at NAKO. I think that was the first time where I got up on stage and I played better than I normally do. Like that one
Mm,
match with the V-Day where I only missed a couple times and majority of it was at the end, like trying to do Yanks back or something. Uh, that was like probably the best time I've ever felt in a freestyle match because first he's European, but there's no way I'm going to lose to an international person. That's like the thing that I was set in my mind. Uh, and second, of just like I wasn't missing, and I knew I wasn't going to miss. Like when when I started cheering and I did the triple inward, it felt like I had no idea that I was going to hit it. Like I really realized like I'm so much better than the last time it was when I competed. Like I'm
yeah.
making huge leaps in my play, And yeah, a lot of that just kind of goes back to I got to back up what I speak about, like pre-KC. Like I've been talking a lot of shit to a lot of Europeans. I can't show up and then get smacked. So
Yeah,
really backing up my talk is a big factor there. So dealing with pressure, I guess your only real opponent when it comes to that's yourself. If you can block it
yeah,
out, it's music, do it. If it works for you, it works for you. Um, if maybe you don't want to focus on yourself and you want to focus on the crowd, if it works for you, it works for you. Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
only way to find out what really works for you is to get out there and go to events, whether it's some small local event where it's like you and one other person, you guys like round robin for like an hour and see who wins the most matches, or if
yeah,
it's like NAKO where you have over 100 people, best players from all over the world showing up. It's going to be a completely different environment. But if you have performed at small events and know it works for you, it's going to work for you at a bigger stage. I think nerves weren't really a big factor as to why I lost both in open division and in uh, freestyle. It was just other person being better than me in those cases.
mm,
I think
yeah,
Mitchell outplayed the fuck out of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inner flip. Like the second I saw that, I knew it was over. As much as I want to say like I was gonna match it, no, like, I just immediately thought, what can I do to look cool? But
yeah,
and then Jacob Schultz absolutely killed it. I knew that there wasn't much I could do there. Open division, Liam Router took me out, and there's a lot of opportunities for me to score points, and I just couldn't. I don't know
mm,
if it was the mindset, but at the end of the day, he was just better than me, and I definitely
mm,
look forward to a rematch. I'm sure we're gonna play each other sometime this upcoming year, hopefully. But
yeah,
yeah, I just love rematches too. So
yeah,
having
yeah,
a goal in mind is definitely something that I look forward to. Like whenever I lose to someone, I feel like I can't lose to them again either. So that's like another
yeah,
another big mindset. A lot of this is just like me personally, like what works for me. I've had
yeah,
a big change in competition mindset as of the past year, as I've won more events, as I've kind of set up a reputation for myself. Like now I went from kind of being an underdog of like, oh, look out for this guy, he might hit some cool tricks in freestyle to like, oh, this
yeah,
guy, there's something wrong with him. It's like, I'm
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure no one sees it that way, but if I lose in freestyle, that's kind of what I see. I mean, I haven't lost like that in a long time. Or
mm,
I don't know if I think I've only lost to Alex Mitchell in freestyle. I lost to Alex Mitchell twice in freestyle this year, and then once to Jacob Schultz, and I know why in all those. And they had more variety and hit harder tricks. So I
mm,
haven't truly experienced like me botching a freestyle run and not winning. It happened at 303, but Joe unfortunately botched too. So I just botched a
mm,
little less and had a better
yeah,
first round, and because of that, I won. But after that, I was dead set on making sure that there wasn't any rounds where I'd kind of be disappointed in my performance. Like I'm not disappointed in my naked performances. I did what I could. I
yeah,
kind of put myself out, but it's not like I went home on the plane like crying, like, oh man, I should have
yeah,
done like six tap or something, because I can't pull out six tap on on stage like a lot of other people can.
yeah.
Did it freeze? Let me turn off my camera and turn it back on.
How do you balance like getting more consistent at your current tricks versus learning something brand new, like a six tap, for example? Like, not that you need to learn it, but just
Mhm.
do you ever? It seems like you
I've
do a
been
lot of
focusing
freestyle versus
on
grinding.
adding six taps to my freestyles actually. Like that's one of the
Okay.
variety projects that I have going on. A lot of the times when I learn a new trick, realistically, it's not going to be an open. So I think of what's a new trick that I can learn and how can I implement it at like the lowest level. So in this case, it would be these. Okay, awful example. Let me run that back. These right here, this cushion juggles.
Yeah.
I learned the single ones. So then like when I do triples, that example once again. But like now I can save that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Awful example once again. Like pretend I landed that. I to do those triples, I had to learn how to do the singles, and that's how I implemented it to my
Yeah.
freestyle runs. I would do like a 45-second freestyle run with the intention of hitting one of those, and then from there, I would do a line dedicated to like some random TikTok line dedicated solely to
Yeah.
single ones, and then from there, I would kind of scale it up with the intention of having a new freestyle trick. So now I'm focusing. I shut my doll. I'm gonna grab it. Okay, but I'm focusing on developing my variety. In the past, it was I want to get better for the sake of getting better. I want to be a more well-rounded player. Now it's more of how can I implement this into my strategy to get it to the point where it's no longer a strategy and it just happens. Like the
Mm,
inline flips, I would think about them so much that sometimes when I when I go blank on stage, I wouldn't do any inward flips, and then my shooting would get super tangled. The goal
yeah,
is to get it to the point where it's instantaneous.
just
Like I
natural.
can
Yeah,
flip, the next thing I know, I'm doing a triple inward toss. Like that's the
yeah,
goal to get to.
yeah.
For me personally,
So it sounds like you don't really grind an individual trick. You just add it to a line or a run that you're doing.
exactly. That's how I've been practicing it as of the past couple months.
Okay.
Or like the past month, especially after NAKO, just like focusing on variety because I know that's my weak point. It used to be kind of like a strong suit of mine, but because I've been focusing so much on developing that juggle control and not missing, I've kind of lost touch with the technical tricks that I used to be able to do. That was a quote on
Yeah.
it, but that was like a great
Yeah.
example of me implementing the cushions.
Yeah, for sure. Practicing freestyle, you mentioned that do you put a timer on for 45 seconds and just like work on a freestyle
I
run?
just toss up my camera and see how long I can go
Yeah.
for.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes it's like 20 seconds and I was just like really into it and it's like a really cool line. And sometimes it's like a minute and a half, but it's like not mediocre tricks, but
Yeah, but just lower than your
like
standard.
very
Yeah.
simple. Like I'd say like the hardest trick being like a 1, 2, 3 lighthouse flip, not insta,
Yeah.
just like tossing it one at
Yeah.
a time. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of my tricks, a lot of my freestyle runs, I think that could have been loud. My coolest freestyle runs are constantly moving. And I feel like if I want to save that for the finals of an event, I gotta I gotta focus on doing freestyle runs that don't have that. A big exercise for me has just been doing freestyle runs and a single grip. So I just be doing
Mm,
like this, and what can I do from here without doing like a can flip? So pretty much
yeah.
do a lot of around stalls, a lot of J6, a lot of lighthouse flips, a lot of
Yeah.
lunar trades. Just kind of seeing what I can do within a single grip, so that way
Mm,
I have more variety. And if I realize that I'm about to do a trick that I want to save for the next round, I'll just avoid it and do something I know I can do and not miss.
right.
But I think that's still a work in progress. Like there's a fat chance I'm gonna get up a battle the border and immediately start doing insta,
Yeah.
because I get like stressed out, nervous, and what I
Yeah.
think is I need to get as many specs as possible so I qualify. Because this is also
Yeah.
the first time I'm doing qualifiers. I guess I
Mm,
like it at pre-KC, and I mean I'm sure I'll qualify, but there's also the small part of my head of like, what can I do to ensure a qualifying run
yeah.
instead of
Yeah, for sure.
uh, kind of botching that kind of stuff and then really regretting it after.
Um, you mentioned at some point how many hours you play every day, and I think you timed it one time and then it was like way more than you thought.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it varies. I think I would say on average, prior to Kendama events, it's like around 4. Uh, there was sometimes I forgot what event it was, but it was like 2 or 3 days before. I pretty much had a Kendama in my day, like or a Kendama in my hand the whole day. And because of that, I had like really bad tendonitis. And tendonitis is a very common thing if you speak to me at Kendama events, because I play a lot
uh,
of Kendama before these events. And kind of dialing that down has been a big factor. Like for NAKO, and I forgot what other event it was. It might have been the Chicago one, Tower Cup. I didn't play all that much because I was like super busy with either school or with like an internship or something. Like I was just so busy that I couldn't focus on that. So it was just
mm,
like having fun at these events. Like freestyle was like so fun. It was a big break from midterms, and now like I've got finals, and then I'll wrap that up right before going to the Arizona event. So I'm gonna like
yeah,
super boost, no stresses in my mind. I'll be chilling the whole
yeah,
time. I'm excited to see
yeah,
how freestyle there.
yeah. But you just kind of have a Dama in your hand and you just play whenever you can, or do you have like a set schedule of like I usually play from like 10 to 11 or something?
It's normally like I'm gonna do homework from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I'm gonna include
Mm,
Dama there. And a lot of the times, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be like a 3 hour segment of Kendama, but I want to make sure that I get my homework done. So I set those kind of like those timelines. That's it. I need to get this done by at this point, and then I can also prioritize other tasks. Like I can't
yeah,
play Kendama until I do like submit this document for this organization, stuff like that.
yeah,
Of kind of like I don't know. I think it was the
Okay.
first pod that I was on. I talked about how, oh, was it this year's battle? I practiced by like I have my dinner next to me, and I wouldn't take a bite until I landed a trick 3 times in a row. Like it was like it's like conditioning myself. I was really trying to see like, okay, I lost a couple. I got second place twice at like in 2023, and I wanted to think like, what can I do to eliminate that? So there was
Yeah.
Spotify Wrapped. The number one song was the song that I used to prepare for Battle of the Border, and it was just listening to the same beat when I was practicing. And it ended up totally just like backfiring. I listened to that track for no reason. I kind of ruined the song for myself. And then yeah, so since I think I want to say after, so from March, SoCal Royale music did help. It got me really hyped up. Uh, I won and I got second. And then I think LBKO, I played a couple matches with headphones in, and then I stopped. And then since then, I've just not played with music. I
Mm,
think I've gotten to the point where I can kind of cope with the crowd. And NAKO was the first example of like the crowd making me play better than I normally am. And it's
yeah.
really exciting for me to feel like that because I was nervous playing in front of a crowd for the longest period of time. So it's real good to finally not have that as a limiting factor. One less thing to control for.
Yeah, for sure. Um, cool. Um, do you're at you are you a senior right now? Are you going to graduate next year?
I'm either going to graduate next semester or next fall. It depends
Okay.
on your trajectories because I'm very interested in very specific careers, and those recruiting seasons have passed, and I wasn't successful this one. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
of either doing an additional internship next summer or just using it as an opportunity to go to international events because I'll be going to EKC, and if I can make it out to KWC, then that'd be awesome. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that I have the resources available to do that and pay for an additional semester of tuition as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool.
yeah,
What
but
are you
the
majoring in?
Kendama club is officially being put into play, which is really, really
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had jams, but it's gonna be nice to like, book tables during the first couple of days of school where everyone's like walking back and forth.
Yeah.
Have a booth of Kendama there. Make people sign up for raffles to like win a Kendama or something. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting for the hopeful growth of Kendama in the Bay Area once again.
Yeah. Awesome. What are you majoring in?
Economics.
Okay. What kind of career do you want?
Uh, Good question, but I'm very interested in management consulting. A lot of the stuff that I do within Kendama is stuff that I'm interested in my personal career, and that's just like extreme growth in a short period of time. So
Yeah.
management consulting would kind of be the best way for me to work on a bunch of different things in a really short period of time. So either
Yeah.
something like that or working in like a very early stage company, or the complete opposite, where I work at a nonprofit and kind of give back to people there because I'm very centered around social impact.
Yeah.
Like I'm interning at a nonprofit right now, and it's the same nonprofit that kind of kicked off my early career back in my freshman year of college. So I'm just like
Mm,
that is a big part of me. But I'm not gonna lie, if I could, like full-time Kendama would be like if I had
yeah.
that option, it would be instantaneous. Um,
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about Kendama, and I feel like it's something that probably saying this because I don't do it full time, but I feel like it's something that I
Mm,
wouldn't get tired of because I really enjoy making videos and stuff like that.
yeah.
But there's a lot of different ways to make Kanama work. I think right now I don't have the time to kind of look into any of those efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so props to
It's
you for
hard too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's really
props to you.
hard.
You know, you got a lot of stuff going on, and it's pretty
Yeah.
exciting to see you balance all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's just yeah. I mean, not until Kendama is as big as other sports, then you're not going to have companies really profiting a lot, like,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean,
Now,
I,
so many different companies. Like back then, when companies used to be able to fly all their players out, it's because
yeah.
they were the size of like multiple companies now were combined.
Yeah. No, for
Uh,
sure.
there wasn't
Yeah.
that many options back then. So now,
Yeah.
yeah, now we have a lot of options, which is great for the players, but for the sake of like sponsored players getting flown out, stuff like Nouns comes into play where if you
Yeah.
can get consistent sponsors like that, then
Yeah.
like the current Kendama scene, the competitive scene will grow rapidly because of players consistently playing against each other. But what I'm interested in is introducing new players to get to that kind of
Yeah.
level. Like,
No, for sure. Yeah.
like the Latvia at the
Yeah.
PATV. I saw a lot of Latvian flags. I was
I
surprised.
know, dude. Yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, I just texted my brother too, like, what is going on over there? I know that they were blown up at some point, but
Yeah, there was some Latvian
politics,
following me.
yeah, that's really cool. Maybe it's a little hotspot right now.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of like a friend group, like they just never
Yeah,
stopped, and that they
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
yeah. 'Cause I feel
That's really
like
cool.
when it comes to such a small limited amount of people, because like let's say someone comes into Kendama and they go to their first event, let's say Battle at the Border, and the 608 crew just like dominates for some reason. Like I mean, they're all good. But like let's say in this case, like they take all the podiums for freestyle and they take all the podiums for open division. And this new player is like Wisconsin is the place for Kendama. Like it's I wonder if it's one of those situations or if it's like it really is like a big boom.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That'd be funny. Yeah, I mean, but dude, even with like a full-time job, like I just can work a lot, you know, like I'm a hard worker. So I was working full time and I was getting better at Kendama and I was running Lotus all at the same time. And
Mhm.
yeah, like I it was an 8 hour job and then I had a girlfriend too, you know, but like I just would play Kendama like on breaks during my job and then I would play kendama from like 9 to 11, and then from yeah 5 to 9 eat and just do some Lotus stuff. You know, I mean, I wasn't growing Lotus as much as I am right now because I'm doing Lotus full time and then kendama part time, but it's super possible. And then you have weekends too. You know, where weekends you
Yeah,
could play
exactly.
for 6 7 hours.
Yeah, like a lot of
Um,
the content creation stuff that I do is on the weekends because like
yeah,
I'm the president of two clubs. Got like 18 units this semester. I'm trying to make it out to all of them.
awesome.
Like it's it's
Yeah,
hard to balance, but there's some times where I'm like, if I were to dedicate just like let's say one less class next semester, I'm focusing on like solely growing Kendama, let's say to just posting like daily beginner tutorials. I wonder what could happen. Because like
yeah.
consistency really is key when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not a person that has ever really felt overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I do. And I know that that's like a common thing, but like whenever I have more stuff to do and have a bigger list, it's just more exciting kind of. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah.
just maybe it's a bad trade or a good trade, but it seems like it's good for
Feel
like the
more
things that I gotta.
overwhelmed. There's only like one thing on my list. Like
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with Canvas. When I see one paper, I like procrastinate it for a super long period of time. But if I see like five papers for each of my classes, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drill these out like nothing.
Yeah,
So I was like
that's
having
funny.
a big caseload. Like I don't know if it's the same thing
Yeah.
for competitions, but like seeing a lot more good players, I hyper
Yeah.
focus on one of them and take out other amazing players that I would have been stressing at regional events. Because I remember like I was putting in a decent amount of practice for ATLO because like Zach was going, and I'm like, okay, like this is new threat that I haven't faced before. I got to prepare for this, and because I put in so much effort to preparing, I won every match pretty easily. Besides Kelvin, I think Kelvin's match was pretty close, and that was like round one. Um, so
Wow.
after I beat Kelvin, yeah, and then like KD beat Zach round one. After that, I kind of knew it was wrap. So like, okay, if
Yeah.
I'm fully confident I can beat everyone here. There isn't anyone here that's done exceptional at any other events. And I mean, I could have been completely blindsided by that. Chandler could have been putting in a shit ton of time, and I just had no idea. But luckily, it all worked out. And there was a lot of great players there, but I think I put in a lot more effort into preparing.
Yeah. Are there any certain players that you still are looking forward to competing with?
Alex Mitchell. Alex Mitchell's been haunting my dreams, dude. Oh my God. Ever since, what is this? CKC 2023, he prevented me from getting first. I watched the full edit and he was like, I think Chad asked him, how do you feel? Or, like, describe this in 2 words. And Alex said, confidence boost. I've been trying so hard to get him to eat those words, and every single time I come up short. It's been like eating away on my soul. Every
Yeah.
time I feel like I get close, every time I get a rematch, I'm always like right beneath there. Like I got to reset the LBKO bracket, got smacked, got smacked in the freestyle, got smacked in freestyle again. At NAKO, like I wanna beat Alex so bad. I want to face him more often. Like I went to ATLO with the intention of facing him, but he ended up not going like the day of. But I ended
Yeah.
up winning. So I guess pretty good for me. But
Yeah.
yeah,
How about any European players?
I don't mean this in like a, I guess it sounds super egotistical. The only European player I'm worried about is Rooney. I
Yeah.
think Vita is an exceptional player, and I'm sure, uh, like I said before, if I beat someone, they're not going to beat me again. Like that's the mindset that I have. So whenever I beat someone, I
Yeah.
just don't stress about them anymore. Um, I hadn't faced Kelvin in Open Division since he beat me at Circuit Royale, so that's why the first round of ATLO was so stressful. But I think I can handle any European player besides Rudney. Rudney is the one
Mm,
European player that is kind of like, okay, if I'm going to train hard for someone, it's going to be for Rudney.
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people that are probably going to surprise me at EKC. The thing about my opinion on European players is that I've only met like five of them. So
Mm,
it's real different from me
yeah.
saying as a competitor to as an American, just because I don't see a majority of these European players playing in person. I don't know how consistent they are. I know you guys have talked about Fred and how good he actually is. Like I'd love to compete against him just because I'm sure it'd push me. So I have no idea how good he is. I see his cool videos, but I'm sure
Yeah.
he like me where we post relatively basic tricks, but we can lace them like first try every time off camera. Uh,
Yeah.
and
I think I don't know about Fred competing. I think he's a better in-person player, but there's some really good players. I mean, there's Tio. I guess he's not competing at EKC, right?
yeah, exactly.
But
Tio would to look out for it, but we
yeah.
unfortunately play. Like I,
But
when I
you
do
have
this, I'm thinking solely of pre-KC. Like who's going to be
yeah,
competing?
pre-KC. Okay. Toto, Jojo, and Benji, I think, are three
Mhm.
top guys. Um, I don't know if you know those. You know Benji Mastic, right? And
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
Toto and Jojo are from France, and they're really really good freestylers.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but I was gonna say Davide. I think Davide is one of the best European
Yeah.
freestylers where you beat him at
I
a
hope he shows up. I'd love to get a rematch. I really put
yeah,
myself for that match. Uh, the only videos I'd seen of him competing in the past had been podiuming against Jacob Schultz in the Kendama Italy event and
yeah,
getting third at Catch and Flow.
yeah.
The
That's
Catch and
huge
Flow
too.
was if he can podium at Catch and Flow and I can beat him, in my mind, I can podium at Catch and
Yeah,
Flow. But I was so
yeah,
focused. I need to play this dude and I need to beat him. Um, yeah, I hope that I mean obviously I'll bet on lose, but I hope if I lose, it's not to any international player, just some American dude that pulled up. Uh, I've been talking too much smack to lose now. There's some cool tricks that I've schemed up, a lot of uncharacteristic like tricks that I've been working on. Um,
yeah,
and by that, it's just European tricks that I've been trying to work on. Like
yeah,
the tricks, especially whenever I play someone, I try to take one of the tricks. Not in
yeah,
like, oh, I'm gonna do it against them in a better way, but I'm kind of like, I want to become a better player. They're way better at this than me. I want to
yeah.
be good like
It's a good
them.
strategy too for judges. You know, I
Exactly.
think judges
Mhm.
really, at least for me, if I was judging, I'd be like, yeah, that's sick. You know, like you just did their trick and you did it.
Exactly.
Like it's crazy. Yeah,
But European players, I don't know. I think I'm going in with a lot of confidence. I think that obviously is probably going to change as time goes on, as I get more stress as time goes on. But right now, I'm riding off the high of like an exceptional freestyle year.
yeah,
So I think I'm going to go into it. I think I have the right to go into it with the same mindset as of this year. Of I'm one of
yeah,
the best freestyle players in North America right now,
yeah,
and I've competed against top international players.
yeah,
But I guess sleep deprivation might be a big limiting factor
yeah,
when I'm over there. But yeah, there's a lot of exceptional European players, but I think I can beat them. I'm not saying it's
yeah,
guaranteed, but I think I have what it takes to beat every. I think at this point, the only player that I really feel like I have a super limited chance of beating is Takuya, and that's because he can do everything I can do, but better. But that's for now. I think I'm on
yeah.
my way out.
But you know, Miguel, who also has a big revenge, what would you say? Yeah, just really likes to avenge somebody is Yasu.
Yeah.
In
So
fact, he put on
I've
makeup
been spinning my
to
ass off.
avenge.
Every time he posts a clip, I'm like, okay, I gotta start grinding. I know he's yeah. The
What do you
last
think about
two
rematching
camera
him at
showed
some
in my
point?
face, so I've been putting a lot of effort into practicing. I know he's dominated at EKC in the past, and like one of the big reasons why I wanted to go to pre-KC is that I know that it's not EKC. Like some European
Yeah.
players, you're like, you should go to like the actual EKC instead of this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
But I want to get a taste for like the actual scene, and not just like people playing in a park. That's not any but the scene. I mean like
Yeah.
people shaking the stage when you go up there, like that kind of
Yeah.
environment. And the closest I've gotten to that has probably been, I don't even know, like 303, just I was surrounded by people, they're all screaming and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that stressed me
Yeah.
out. So if I'm gonna deal with that kind of stuff, I need to experience it.
Yeah.
Um, like, I'd be okay with shitting the bed at pre-KC if I can come back and dominate knowing what to expect
Yeah.
PKC. I obviously don't think I'm gonna shit the bed at pre-KC, but I think it's like I'm really expecting myself to win.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna be disappointed if I lose too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
High
I'm
standards.
excited to go over there and have fun. Like exposure therapy is my way of getting to the top, and this is
Yeah.
just thing that I'm exposing myself to get at the top of the
Yeah.
European scene. Um, I think the Japanese scene is one thing that's kind of like the top milestone for me to conquer. But that would mean I beating
Yeah.
YASU in freestyle, Takuya in freestyle, and then those two again, and Ryoga and Maharo in
Yeah.
the type of
Yeah.
division, which I know is super far fetched. But right now, I know that I'm not the best player, but I think I'm a very consistent player, and my draw
Yeah.
situation is what sets me apart from other players. Uh, I'm really focused on beating all the European players and showing them and like the rest of the world that I'm someone to be reckoned with at an international level, not just small regional events throughout the USA.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times those events only have like a handful of good players. Like no shade to the other people, but there's a very big difference between someone like Mahar showing up to an event compared to someone like me showing up to an event.
Yeah.
It's a track record to prove it. And his track record feels a lot more impressive than my regional event stuff, where he's like placing at these top events. And
Yeah.
I kind of want to get there. And the only way to
Yeah.
get to
For
one of
sure.
these big events, and I think I'm on track to get in there.
Well, dude, I think that's a great place to end it, man. I really appreciate what you're doing for the community, and I really love this. I like you as a personality too. I think your confidence is really, really cool and inspiring. And yeah, I think I'm rooting for you. I know there's a lot of people rooting for you. So yeah, man, best of luck. And at
Motivation.
EKC, you should come up to Copenhagen after because we're having an event a week after EKC
Oh
if you have
shit.
time.
Oh, the week
Yeah,
after?
yeah.
Oh man, I think I just changed my flight to the weekend before, or like the Thursday before. I'll see if I can change that, push it back.
Okay. All right.
I
Let me
don't know
know.
if
Yeah.
again. If I'm already there, I might as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Just come up. It's like, yeah, like an hour flight from Leiden. And then flying out of Copenhagen is pretty cheap. So, yeah. But if yeah, just look into it. Yeah.
To all the European players watching this, no shade to you if I like forgot who you are or if I get beat by you. I'm looking forward to facing all you guys, and I really
No,
hope I.
man. Yeah, dude. No, that's just yeah, it's yeah, I think it's really cool. There's not I like this competition mindset. And I think it brings the best out of people, because it's all love at the end of the day, but like
Mhm.
we're all looking to get better. And I think
I'm pushing myself, and it just happens to
yeah,
be the Europeans are some of the milestones that I have set for me to get better. Of
yeah. All right, awesome, bro. Great talking to you, man. Thanks so much.
course, likewise. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks,
Appreciate you.
Miguel. See you.